Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. We are going to do support and resistance. If you're an investor, if you're a trader, if you're in crypto, forex, stocks, whatever, this will be a really good lesson for you. So welcome everyone, hope you're good. Please do like, subscribe, press that bell button, all kinds of good stuff. This is my 28th consecutive video. This is my last one. I'm going to have a break tomorrow. As I said at the end of February, from the 28th of February, I was going to do a full 28 days of March madness. This month has been crazy, I know. It's been crazy. So thank you for all the support that you've given me. So I've got 3 more lessons to give, 3 more free lessons. So the last one was the Fibonacci, which will come into this very, very quickly. So be wary of that using your support and resistance. So if you learn this bit, go back to the Fibonacci retracement tool, learn that one, and then you'll be pretty much solid for a good foundation. If you want me to do any other sort of free lessons, comments, the ones with the most likes or whatever, or the most mentions, I will do them in the next possible 3 videos that I will do. So what's all this on the chart? Let's start simple. Now, support and resistance, okay? You've got 2. One is support, one is resistance. Would you believe? Now, you have that one and that one. Now, let's talk about principles first so you kind of understand it. I'll put that one at the top so it doesn't confuse you. So, clear charts, obviously, I will do a clear chart next to go from the bottom to the top. And I've already did it in one video and people liked it, so this is why I'm doing it today. So, you've got elements of, you know, let me just change the colours of these just to make it more obvious for you. Let's just put this as purple, and we'll put this. Now each colour comes into context of different levels, right? Just ignore that what the colours mean. This is a resistance, sorry, this is support. Imagine this as a house. This is your floor, this is your ceiling. When price goes up, right, it's going to hit something. At some point it's going to hit something. That's known as resistance. It will then come down. If it's then going to hold, it's going to hit support and it will hold from that point. This is basically a typical channel, range channel, within support and resistance. Now, you have buyers here. This is where the buyers live. This is where the sellers live, right? Imagine that as a bunk bed. So that's the basic element of it. Now, market structure is formulated from the start, from when a coin is listed, from when a currency is born, when a stock is born. From minute number 1 that is come out, it will start calculating and putting data on charts. They go back. The term always look left is really useful if you want to understand where price has been and potentially turned around. There's usually something there that's going to give you that. And this is why I kind of don't understand scalping, and where people do scalp weird things and like, why are you buying there? It doesn't make sense. When you look at the longer term time frames, that's why they lose more trades, because they're trying to go for opportunity rather than sense. So if you are scalping, just be mindful of that. So let's just look at my chart here. Now I'm going to show you how to draw this. I go from the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour and the 1 hour. Right, that's all I do. Right, I have set rules. So what you're learning here is my version of events, how I do it, right? Physically, how I do it. There's different ways to do it. There's different videos on YouTube. There's all kinds of different theories and methods and all kinds of stuff. I use price action with market structure and Fibonacci to do my trades. Very, very simple. Along with moving averages and stuff like that to kind of help in that regard as well. So if you do want to learn more, links below, whatever, to learning crypto, it's my company. Discounted trades, discounted trading courses and all kinds of stuff at the moment due to the pandemic. But please, like, if you are looking to learn trading, there's some great ways to learn, and it's all to do with practice and looking at charts. If you look at a chart long enough and you can mark out structure and see where things move from, you'll start to understand the chart. Too many people, constructive criticism, are trying to trade whatever they see. So if you, like, say for example you go to a watch list here, for example, right? Just to give you an insight, say for example if you got all your crypto charts here, right, you're like, oh cool, what am I going to trade today? The chances are you are not going to understand how each of these coins work or move or kind of stuff. the best practice to give you, and if you are looking to start out trading, or if you're looking at investing, only invest in trade and sort of stuff like that, in stuff that you know, the stock that you know that you've researched, the crypto coin that you've researched as well. Likewise for cryptocurrency trading or forex trading, whatever. If you understand the currency inside and out, back to front, upside down, left and right, and you understand how it bloody wipes its ass, you will know how it moves. That is the best thing about it. And you will start getting bigger and better gains from that. So let's go to a random thing. We're going to do a random forex pair just to mix things up a little bit. Now, I'm going to say this as well. I never used to respect market structure as much as I do now. Why? I want to explain that very, very quickly once I find what page we get. USD CAD. Right. I've not really looked at this. I've done a little bit of a fib point on this, but we're going to wipe out the drawings and let's make this all default as well. Let me put some nice colours on here. Shall we just go Hitman colours? Yeah. So, normal psychology. You always get the red candles and green, don't you? Oh, right. So when you look at a chart like this when it's naked, you kind of got to think, well, where are things? Why do things turn around? Why do things stop and turn? Now, to give you that context, this is a load of data. This is data from years and years and years and years with the forex market, the same with the stock market, depending on how long and old your stock is. Now, I never used to respect market structure with crypto because I used to trade the lower micro cap coins when I first started out. They didn't have data, they didn't have structure, they were listed, they were going boom. Didn't have any concept of support and resistance until they were about 6 months old, and then it changed. Now, when you consider that with futures market, with cryptocurrency, they respect structure. So please, if you are trading crypto, please respect structure too, because it is actually a real thing now. Trend lines are a bit weird. Certain things are still a bit weird, but when you compare it to the forex market and how coins move and stuff, they move, but in different ways. Okay, so you've got to figure that out. So this is how I have it. I have a 3 monthly chart for forex. I like to look at what's happening in the quarterly sessions, how things have obviously moved and changed and stuff, but I don't tend to plot anything on that. I just look at it briefly. So the first thing you need is the monthly levels. You need to figure out what is a monthly level, and I go with a rule of 3, but on the monthly I tend to just do 2. So we're going to do the full breakdown of how I do things. I'm going to walk you through it. Then we're going to do a cryptocurrency, and then we'll probably add a bit of confluence with other indicators to kind of show you how things move. So please do obviously pause it, take drinks, take a nap or whatever if you want to do, but obviously please do share, like and comment on this if you are enjoying learning some free stuff. So the first one, you've got the monthly levels, right? I use green for monthly. I try not to have the box too big because it'll be fucking massive on the short time frames. But just to give you an insight, this is obviously going up to May 2020, for example, right? That is a monthly level. It hasn't closed yet, but in the next 3 days it will be closing. Actually, to be honest with you, why am I saying that? It's got one more day to kind of way up there, but it's very, very unlikely. So I'm going off the basis of this level here and that. So that is kind of going to be good enough for me at the moment. It could be adjustable due to the fact that they've got one more day to trade. And then I'm going to put another one here, right where this level is here, because this is kind of an obvious level. Why not the bottom? Well, I could do the bottom, but there's nothing really here. Whereas on here, I know I've got, if I go a little bit left, I've got these body closures here. I've got that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's enough areas there for me. More than enough for me to keep me happy in that range. There's a monthly level. There's a monthly support level. It's kind of obvious. And when you go a little bit that way, it's actually been classed as resistance at one point as well. So that is kind of how that would look. That is on a monthly time frame. There's no point going balls deep all the way down here because you're never going to get there that quickly on Forex. But then you go to the weekly levels. This is where things get a little bit more interesting when you start zooming in a little bit more and you start looking, right, what does this really look like? Now again, you need to do weekly wicks on this level. Very, very easy to do. Again, get the rectangle tool and look for an area where things have kind of stopped and turned around in an area. And now here's one here, very, very obvious. Why is it obvious? Well, when you start plotting this on, I need to change the colour of this. Again, make this one a little bit thinner and also change the colour of it. Now you've got wick, 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 support. Comes all the way down, back into this level, back up, resistance, back all the way down, resistance, and then obviously this level range here, breakthrough. So that is one weekly level. Very, very simple, very, very easy to kind of digest. And again, don't want to go too deep on that. Trying to make it nice and neat. I tend to go for wicks on the weekly levels, so you can see wick, 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 wick. Just about missed it, but it all validates. Moving on to the next version of this one, you need to do a few of these just to make sure. You're looking for the next obvious one, and the next obvious one is obviously down here. But I'm going to change it to this level here. Why? Because it's kind of obvious. You've got that level here, you got that level support, back down, resistance, resistance, breakout, support, obviously that level. And you can see how it works for both. Now you're looking at these body areas here, it's very, very clear cut and in terms of how it works. Now it doesn't have to be bang on the weekly, because when you go to the shorter time frames it will make more apparent sense when you see it. Now that is all I'm going to do with this range bound. I'm just going to do that one. I've got to, actually no, I'll tell a lie. I'm going to put one more in, but I'm going to put it down here, in this level here. Why? Because that is kind of a key level. It's a key turning point, it's support and resistance. You can kind of see how it drops in, holds. Obviously if that one's extended, actually I will extend it so you can see it, like that. And you can see how it dropped below, back in, resistance. So that is kind of a small, moderate level. If I look left on this one, I'll probably find some more key areas at some point. But what I'm going to do quickly, just neaten all this up so it looks a bit neater and tidier. But you will find that chart OCD does help you trading. Like I've noticed that I used to have really messy charts until recently, and I thought I'd tidy it all up. It looks a bit neater now. So that's given me long-term confluence of where things have actually stopped and turned around. You can kind of see where things have kind of stopped and turned a little bit. There's probably a smaller level here, probably a daily level in here, so this is why you don't want to go too deep with the longer term time frames. But I've just put that there just as an eye kind of a simple idea really. But obviously we have to do up here as well. So as I said before, remember weekly wicks, daily bodies. Bung one of these up here as well, just to make sure that you've got all bases covered, and to keep it nice and neat. Look at where the wicks are, and I'm just going to put it there, right? I'm going to put it at the top of this level here because it is a real big area, and I'm going to make it nice and thin as well, so it's kind of obvious but not too. So weekly area, wick, wick, boom, boom, that'll do for me. Geez, easy. So obviously some of the variance on sizes obviously matter as well, depending on the area. Obviously I've tried to cover the wicks as much as I can, so just don't be don't get too caught up with that. When you go down to the daily though, this is where things you start going to current price action levels. So you don't want to go too deep, you don't want to go like a year ago. You want to kind of zoom in enough so you can see the current play. Okay, so you can see enough. So don't go too far away, because you're going to obviously have issues. Now this again, you're using the rectangle tool, but again, don't go too far. This is an obvious level. I don't have to spell that out, do I? That is a real obvious level. And again, you're just bunging that on the top there. You got the whole resistance there. Resistance, boom, through support, off we go. And again, if I keep going left with this and put my crosshair on this region, just look at where things have kind of held out. It's kind of obvious. So you don't want to go too gun ho and go that way too much. You will start losing your mind. And again, if I want to be very, very clever, and you will, by the way, use whatever colours you want. You don't have to use whatever, you can use whatever colours you want. I use a purpley pinky on the daily. I think it looks quite neat and tidy. And this is kind of what it's mapped out until obviously August time, so it will respect that. Again, you need to put more than just that one level in. Clone it, and you're going to go upwards. And I'm going to put mine there. I'm going to put mine right there, where that wick has stopped, where that has stopped and turned around, went back up, went for a retest, boom, I'm going to put that there. And again, I'm going to look a bit higher as well. I'm going to put 4 on this one, because I'm quite happy, I'm quite happy with that level there, because there's a weekly level there, but I'm also thinking there may be a retest at some point on here. So let's just look at this, zoom in a little bit. So when you start looking at this and you think, well, what's happened here? This is a very, very interesting area. I'm going to put that there. And then that is all I'm going to do on that. I'm just going to keep it nice and clear. I might actually, no, I'll tell a lie. I'm going to bung one right here, base off these tops here. As you can see. Because when you look left on here, you got tops, tops. If I keep looking left, you got tops, 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 obviously resistance support, all kinds of good stuff. So that's how I mark out the daily levels. And obviously when you start looking at current price action, you can kind of map out, well, where could we be going? Well, there's a weekly level there. There's obviously an area here. And if I was a betting man, I'm not a betting man. If you put a fib on here, down to this region up to here, it wouldn't shock me to see us go right up to this level here. Now, that's for another, obviously, go back in time, go into the Fibonacci, and I'll try and show you some confluence with how these do work. And again, this is a blank chart. You'll see how good the Fibonacci is very, very soon. So then you go to the 4 hour. This is where you start using your horizontal lines. You start seeing current structure. Now there's one right there. Boom. Really, really simple. Put a horizontal line there. Again, rule of 3 usually. And look for other areas. Again, there's a one there. Obviously wick, body closure, wick, 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 body closures. Boom, a one there. And again, you're probably going to look a bit closer to home. Now, be very mindful of that. Don't want to get too many lines on your chart. You will start getting confused. So if you're in and around daily levels, try and avoid using them. But I'll probably put one here, where this body closure is here, closure, closure, cool. That one works for me. And again, if you look left, you'll probably find it. But these are current levels. These are intra-week levels, by the way. So you can adjust these. Try not to. You can obviously just drag and drop whatever, put alerts on them, whatever how you want. And that is current live price action for the 4 hour. These are adjustable every day. And when you go to the 1 hour, you want to then start using horizontal rays. Now, again, you need to zoom in a little bit. You're on current live price action right now. This is your execution phase. In my opinion, this is what I do. Don't have to copy that. You get the ray tool out and you start looking at levels in here. There's a one right there. As you can see here, if I stop, turn around, there's a one level there. This is how you map it out. Again, if you wanted to have another area up here, if you wanted to, you can use that area there, which is obviously in confluence with that wick. This area, it just gives you more padded structure, makes things easier. And if you wanted to put one in the middle of there, you could, but there's a one right there. So that is how I map out my charts. That's really, really straightforward. I know this is quite long, but you'll probably be able to see how easy it works. But when you start thinking about trading and what you can do with it, you're going to start looking at confluence with areas. Now, how I trade, I use a Fibonacci base off these. Now you can see how clear areas are of interest where things are kind of like, oh, hello, weekly levels. Now, obviously up here, if you were trading up there, it'd be different because you'd have easily a level up here. But I've missed it out. If you start thinking, well, on the 4 hour time frame, I'll probably have easily that, but there's no point because we're not up there, we're down here. So try not to get too bogged down with putting loads of lines. I see a lot of people using support and resistance who just have lines everywhere. It's a freaking mess. You want to try and keep it neat and tidy. And some people look at my chart and figure, well, that's quite messy. But this is kind of my chart setup for this. If I remove my colours and go to grey, I have it like that. I have it grey. I remove the grids. I make it a lot more concise. I make it a lot easier. I also make my crosshairs different. You can see my crosshairs different where I can put my line against something and just see exactly where things are pinpointed. It really is quite good. So we're back onto my mode now. And this is really, really obvious in my opinion where you look for a trend. And when you start looking at the 4 hour time frame, look at the pullback where it went into this daily level, back up to the weekly, slam. When you start putting a Fibonacci on this is where you start getting your mind blown a little bit, where you start looking at the tops into these levels and you start looking at where things actually naturally fall. And when you start zooming out and seeing things, well, look at the obvious signs. We've got a weekly level at the 0786. We've got a little level there, which is kind of a lower time frame level. You got this at the 4 hour. You got this region at the bottom here, which is very, very close to this 4 hour level here. You got the 038 minus 039, which is the 50% level at the monthly, and then you got the 4 hour level here. It all adds up with some sort of confluence. If you were looking to get into this trade here as an entry, obviously the weekly level's like the perfect area. That would be the main area, but you'd be looking at laddering in orders in and around this region anyways. If you're looking for the trend continuation to the downside, this is a relief rally. Simple. So that's why the Fibonacci is really, really important. Again, if you look at the daily though, and you start looking at how moves materialize and where things fall, if you put the Fibonacci as a retracement, bottom to top, look at where in and around these regions you have little levels. So obviously this level here, in and around regions of actual interest. So this is why I use a Fibonacci. So that is how you map out support and resistance on a chart. It really is quite simple, and I don't want to go over it too much because that's kind of it. I don't want to go too much, but when I look at my current stuff, I won't do any of a map outs from the start. But what I will say is, when you look at like my current charting, let me have a little look at GBP, GPY. This is my current trade that I'm looking at for the week. So when I'm looking at this, I've got all my stuff already marked out. What I'm waiting on was a retracement, but I missed it. This is what happened. We had an impulse up to this point, we went down to this level here, right, which is in between these 4 hour bands, and then obviously a retest up and beyond. Now I need to add more levels on this chart. I know that because we're starting to go beyond these previous, but where we were down here, I can obviously just flip them over and move them. And again, when you start looking at the daily time frame, you start looking, well, there's a natural level here, an obvious level here on the daily time frame where this little gap is. So when on Sunday nights, basically, I'll go over my charts and I'll make sure they're all up to date, they all look quite nice, and look at where things have been. And obviously I've been playing this whole range, and obviously it dipped way beyond this range. So I need to just fill in some gaps, plug it all in. So that's one thing you need to do, trade management in terms of your charting. Again, you look at this one here, this one, JU, unreal. This is crazy in terms of the Forex world. This is like what a move down, what a move up. Caught past this move already. I got like 200 pips on one of the moves. Really, really good trade. But again, if you're looking at this on the 4 hour time frame, right, this is what happened. We impulsed from this level up to this level. We corrected all the way down into the 0382 or into the 0236 even, sorry. And we didn't even retrace that much, and it just went on this monthly level, and off we go. And you can see the confluence between where things have been in the past with these wicks and stuff like that. So the confluence is really key using something like the Fibonacci. But again, with crypto, it's the exact same thing. It works in the exact same way. When you start thinking, well, where could this retrace to? Well, relief rally back up into this range here is possibility 0618, 0.5, and then roll back over down to the downside. So you gotta have all these levels on your chart. And again, I've got a little consolidation page here, and you can see here on this overall structure, whipped all the way down, back up into this level, this weekly level. No coincidence that it's a weekly level of the 0618. It's a big key level, and always remember where these little areas are falling and why they have so much confluence. So support and resistance, they're definitely worth it. You can see when you look left and look at certain things and how things just move, and you can obviously look at chart, obviously there's areas up here, but you can just see where things move down to, where they gravitate up towards and back down to, following the trend. They follow areas and they go to areas and they turn around, and these have been on my charts for quite a while now. There's key levels, and I've just been marking them out differently. And when you start looking left and you start seeing things, it's pretty neat and tidy. It's pretty awesome. Again, Ethereum's probably one of the ones that respects it the most, and it looks beautiful when you start taking it back and looking at it. But when you zoom in on stuff like this and you start seeing structure on key levels and where things are actually at, you start to see, well, where did things wick towards? Why do they do it? Why do they go into certain levels? Why do they go back to the weekly levels and then back to retest it? So it's definitely something you need to be considering as a trader. So there you go. That's today's video done. Nice simple level. I do think we're going to go back to 102 levels into the monthly support level. And then obviously I've got a random little region here as a target, which is probably not the neatest in terms of looking at it. Let me just change the colour of that so it doesn't look, oh god. Boom. So it doesn't look too kind of like, no, there was a one that I had the other day and I really liked it. I don't know where I've put it now. Anyways, I'm just playing with my colours. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope it was good. Hope you enjoyed it. There we go, target level. Boom. Please do like, subscribe, and all kinds of good stuff. Obviously, remember your risk management and stuff like that. With support and resistance, if you are entering a short, try and enter it obviously at resistance, because it's going to turn around. If you're entering long, support, keep it simple. Try not to go scalping against a trend, because you will lose. Again, likewise with this, if you're looking at in terms of Ethereum, I think the rollover is going to come. This is obviously a retest, rally, bounce, turnover, and then a further retest, breakdown into a new level, newer low. So that's why I've got the target of 102, which is the monthly levels.